Hello guys. Stakeholder management is important aspect of business analysis. When I started my career as a business analyst, it was a bit difficult for me to manage the stakeholders. And when I spoke to many of my friends who are business analysts, they are also having same challenge, same difficulty to manage the stakeholders. Is it really that much difficult? Absolutely not. If we aware about some techniques of stakeholder management, that's going to be very easy for us. So today we'll discuss about the stakeholder management by business analyst. My name is Mayur Deshpande. We'll start with stakeholder management, identification of stakeholder, relationship of stakeholder, communication plan with the stakeholder mapping with RACI matrix and authority interest grid, and what are the challenges for stakeholder management. Let's start. What is meant by stakeholders? Once we hear the word stakeholder, what comes in our mind? The investor, the capitalist, the product owner, client, all the higher authorities, all the decision-making authorities comes into mind. But question is, these are the only stakeholders? Absolutely not. As per the BABOK, what is the definition of stakeholder? Stakeholder is any person or any entity which affect the system, which affect the project, or which are getting affected by the project, by the system. Any person or entity which affect the project or which are getting affected by the system are my stakeholders. We'll see it with the example that would be more clear for you. If a client is expecting to design automatic chocolate vending machine, I just need to list down my stakeholders. Project is design of automatic chocolate vending machine. A client is expecting, client is directly involved, client is getting affected because of this, so client will be my stakeholders. As a business analyst, myself is a stakeholder because I am conducting the strategy analysis and the requirement generation part. Then investor is affecting the system. Investor is providing capital strength to my project, so they are affecting to the system. So investor is my stakeholder. Then chocolate vendor, my service provider, my vendor is my stakeholders. Then user, the end user who is going to use this project or who is going to use this machine or system is my stakeholders. Then machine fabricator, the physical setup fabricator is my stakeholder. Technical developer, whether hardware or whether software, whatever the technical part is there, technical developer is my stakeholders. So these are the persons or entities which are affecting the system or which are getting affected by the system. That's the reason these all are my stakeholders. In stakeholder management, first we have to establish the relationship of stakeholder with our project. We have to check what are the roles of each stakeholders and relationship of each stakeholder with our project. Let's see the example. Here I have given some stakeholders, client, owner, investors, employees, customers. I have mentioned the responsibility. What is the client responsibility? Client is responsible for business process, growth and profit. Relationship. What is the relationship with the project? Owner is the ultimate authority of project. Business will grow faster at his maximum involvement in a project from commencement. So this is the relationship of client or my stakeholder with my project. So we have enlisted all our stakeholders and we have plot the responsibility of stakeholders. Now we have to plan for communicating with them. How to plan communication with the stakeholders? By considering some of these factors for communicating, we can plan for communication with the stakeholders. Purpose of communication, frequency of communication, duration, and channel of communication. If you can see, I have listed some of the purposes: project planning, requirement gathering, development briefing, project commencement meeting, and I have also include that who all are the participant of my specific purpose. I have mentioned the frequency. How many times in a day, how many times in a week, how many times in a month we're going to communicate for this. Duration, what is the allocated specific time or time frame, and then channel. Channel I need to define because there are many channels that we can communicate with the stakeholders. There may be mail, there may be face-to-face meeting, there may be a telephonic calls, there may be web access platforms, many channels are there. So it is good to define, it is good to decide the channel of communicating. It is good to define the purpose, frequency, domain, and all the participants. Next is stakeholder mapping. The effective technique is resimatric. Why we do the stakeholder mapping? Why we perform? Why we conduct the stakeholder mapping? Because stakeholder mapping allows us to understand the attitude of a stakeholder towards the project, the mindset of stakeholders towards the project, and how it also helps us to know how would be the approach of specific stakeholders towards the project. So we'll start with the resimatric. RESI. R stands for responsible, A stands for accountable, C stands for consulted, and I stands for inform. We have to map all the stakeholder against the specific task involved in project. Let's see the example. Solution drafting, solution finalizing. Who is responsible person? Who is accountable person? Who needs to be consulted for this specific task, and who needs to be informed for about this task? So I have mapped the personas and consultant are responsible for the solution finalizing. Project manager needs to be consulted. Business analyst is accountable for accuracy, and development team and all other stakeholders needs to be informed that solution has been finalized. So by this way, we can map each of our tasks against the specific stakeholders, which will give us the clear picture about what is the specific task and what is the role of stakeholder in that specific task. This metric will give us the clear idea about if you are a stakeholders, what are your roles and responsibilities. If I am a project manager, it gives me the clear picture about all the tasks and about all the responsibility, about all my responsibility. If I am a project manager, then I am responsible for concept drafting. I have to be consulted for solution finalizing. I am accountable for accuracy of BRD FRDs. I am also accountable for project design, and I am responsible for technical architecture. So being a specific stakeholders, you will come to know what are your roles, responsibilities, accountability, and your areas of expertise or your areas of involvement in the project. Next technique of stakeholder mapping is authority and interest grid. We have many stakeholders. Some stakeholders are with high authority in a project, and some stakeholders are with low authority in a project. Some stakeholders are very much interested in a project, very much enthusiastic, and some are not that much interested, that much enthusiastic. So if we can plot them against these two, authority and interest, so this will make us understand how the stakeholder, which stakeholder gonna be more beneficial or gonna be less beneficial for my project. So we have 4 quadrants: high authority, more interested stakeholders; high authority, less interested stakeholders; low authority, less interested; and low authority, more interested stakeholders. So once we speak to stakeholders, once we started discussion with the stakeholders, we can understand, we can come to know that who is the highest authority of stakeholder, who is the highest authority of project, who are the stakeholders are more interested with the project. So if we can segregate the stakeholders with these 4 categories, so that's going to be more beneficial for us to understand the approach, the attitude, and the mindset of stakeholders. The stakeholders with high authority and more interested, these stakeholders are very good stakeholders. These stakeholders are very good for maintaining the healthy environment of project development. The stakeholders which are with high authority but less interested. High authority but less interested. These are the difficult stakeholders, because this stakeholder is having authority but they are not that much interested, that much involved in the project. These are the difficult stakeholders. A business analyst should have a diplomatic approach to communicate with the stakeholders or to satisfy the stakeholders. Then low authority, more interested. These stakeholders are also good stakeholders to gather the requirement, but these stakeholders are not decision makers. They don't have that much decision making authorities. Last, low authority and less interested. These kind of stakeholders are least bothered stakeholders. These are the least bothered stakeholders. They don't want to be get involved into the project. They will not having that much authority for decision making. So these are the least bothered stakeholders in our project. So if you can plot these stakeholders against this authority and interest, so it will give us clear idea about how to communicate, what would be the communication approach, and what would be the stakeholder handling approach. Lastly, challenges. So these are the techniques of stakeholder management. We have seen the grids, we have seen the metrics. The most important is what are the challenges while managing the stakeholders. First one is a communication language. This is the biggest challenge. We all prefer English language, but there may be some stakeholder in your project, they doesn't know the English language. So this language is a biggest challenge. Then communication channel, communication platform is also a challenge. So how you are going to manage this challenge, how you are going to rectify this issue if some stakeholders are not preferring the specified communication channel. This is the biggest challenge. Then time zone, different time zones. If I'm designing a project, I'm doing a project, one of my stakeholders is staying in US, one of my stakeholders is staying in Australia, I am in India, and one of my stakeholders is in Europe. Every country is having different time zone. So how you are going to manage it? So it is one of the biggest challenge for stakeholder management. Then handling stakeholder internal conflicts. We have many stakeholders with different mindsets, with different attitude. So there may be chances of occurring the conflicts, internal conflicts. So how you are going to manage this internal conflicts of stakeholders, because stakeholders has to have on a same page or has to have a clear idea about the projects and all projects and requirements. So it is important to handle their internal conflicts. Then the challenge is keep every stakeholder satisfied. For a specific task or for a specific project, different stakeholders may have different ideas. If you choose one, then other stakeholders will get unsatisfied. So how you are going to handle this? This is again you have to handle that diplomatically. So these are some challenges of business analyst. So that's all about the stakeholder management. Lastly, we'll come to conclusion. What is the benefit of this stakeholder management? Stakeholder management gives us effective working relationship with the stakeholders. It helps us to know how to manage the conflict and complexity between the stakeholders. This will help business analysts to understand the characteristics of stakeholders. We have different stakeholders, so characteristics may get changed as per the stakeholders. So it helps us to understand the characteristics of stakeholders. Well plan of communication can be established. We have designed the communication plan that's going to be help us to establish the perfect plan or the good plan for communication. And This mapping or this stakeholder management techniques will help us to add values in involvement of stakeholders. So this is all about the stakeholder management. That's it for the day. Thanks for watching. If you have any query, just write it to me in comment box. Signing off. Thank you.